Alright, today we got the news that Umar Nurmagomedov is pulling out of his fight with Cory Sandhagen, and that fight was supposed to take place August 5th, same day as Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul. It was supposed to be on a UFC fight night in Nashville, and it was announced that Umar Nurmagomedov pulled out. I'm going to be talking about who's going to be replacing him, which is Rob Font. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on even the original matchup as well as this new matchup. Who do I think is going to win? Who do I favor? But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. As you guys know, we're trying to 20K by the end of the year, so it would just help out if you guys could just chip in, hit the subscribe button, and let the algorithm know, hey, that you are enjoying the video, so comment below. Anyways, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Cory Sandhagen was announced about at the beginning of the month or so. The fight was going to take place at UFC Nashville August 5th, and yeah, this matchup was rumored for a long time. It made kind of no sense. Umar Nurmagomedov coming off of his win against Bout, who he knocked out in brutal fashion. It was a really good performance, but to get the now number 4 ranked bantamweight in the world from a non-ranked guy, it makes no sense, and it really didn't make sense on behalf of Umar. I don't think it was in Umar's best interest to accept the fight. But yeah, I did a video on this matchup a little long ago. I talked about how Cory Sandhagen would have a massive advantage. I'm going to tell you guys why. Now, Umar was a big betting favorite, and I get it. The name Umar Nurmagomedov sounds really appetizing when you're trying to bet and trying to add a fighter to your parlay. But the truth be told is, not every Nurmagomedov has the superpower, crazy dominant wrestling that is just going to be undefeated for the rest of his career. We saw with Islam Makhachev, he almost lost to Volkanovski, lost to the no-name guy before. Like, these Dagestanis, yes, they're very good, especially with their grappling, but they can be beaten, right? Like, it's very possible. And I thought that Cory Sandhagen was going to easily beat Umar Nurmagomedov. I had no doubt in my mind, simply because this is such a big jump in talent, right? Like I said, Bout, big difference from Cory Sandhagen. Cory Sandhagen, especially where he is now, this is the best Cory Sandhagen we've seen in years. Like, this is the best well-rounded version of him, with the striking, the takedowns, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. Everything is just coming all together for him, and it was just terrible to face a guy like Umar Nurmagomedov. And yes, I was curious to see how Cory Sandhagen's grappling improved, because yes, he did get submitted by Aljamain Sterling, but like I said, I just think he's improved so much, and especially this is a 5-round main event, the first time he gets a spotlight all around, and the first time he's going to be going 5 rounds, because I don't think he could finish Cory Sandhagen within 3 rounds. So I think it would have went into the later rounds, we would have tested his cardio, and I think Cory Sandhagen could have either finished him or dominated him across most of the rounds. And I know a lot of people might disagree and might say I'm crazy and might say, hey, this is actually a toss-up fight. And look, yes, there's a possibility where Umar could win the fight. He is a really good wrestler and also has underrated striking. His striking is very good. Like I said, he just knocked out Bout, knocked him out cold, and that was at the beginning of the year. It wasn't so long ago, but it's just this experience gap is crazy to me, and it was a bad matchup, right? He's the number 14 guy going up against the number 4th ranked guy. You gotta give Umar at least like a middle ground guy, like a Song Yadong or Ricky Simone, someone like that, so kind of build him up there. This isn't a Hamza where he's dominating all the guys. He is undefeated, but still, I think he would have lost that matchup. But like I said, it was announced that he pulled out. It's unknown as to why. Maybe he's injured or something like that. The fight is like 2 weeks away, so it's pretty soon. I'd imagine it probably has something to do with an injury. And there was a lot of speculation on who is going to fill in for Umar. A lot of talk. There's talks of Dominic Cruz, which is a matchup that I would have liked. Dominic Cruz obviously coming off of a loss to Marlon Vera, but it would have been interesting because that's a way for him to get back into the title picture. With the win against Cory Sandhagen, I think you just need one more and you're back up there, or even getting a title shot. Especially Dominic Cruz, someone who has proven to be one of the best bantamweights of all time, if not the best bantamweight of all time. It's a very marketable fight if you had Dominic Cruz versus Aljamain Sterling, or even Dominic Cruz and Sean O'Malley if O'Malley manages to beat Aljo. That would have been a big one, but they didn't wind up going with him. There was talks of Jonathan Martinez, who I like. He's not very well known. He did get a win against Saeed Nurmagomedov, but they ultimately went with Rob Font. Now, Rob Font was supposed to fight Song Yadong the following weekend at UFC 292. However, that fight is now scrapped. Song Yadong apparently pulled out with an injury around the same time. It just wasn't public, so they just decided, hey, let's bring Rob Font a week earlier, bring him to Nashville, have him fight in the main event. And yeah, it's an interesting matchup. Both guys are strikers, and Rob Font is coming off of, that year break he took where, he did suffer brutal losses to Marlon Vera and Jose Aldo, right? He fought in May, fought Adrian Yanez in New Jersey, and knocked him out in the first round. A very shocking performance from him, a very good performance, a performance we haven't seen Rob Font have in a while. He had a really good performance against Cody Garbrandt, and then after that, I feel like he just fell off. So it was really good to see, him getting another opportunity to fight a top guy, because if he beats Cory Sandhagen, I think he has all the momentum behind him. He just needs one more fight, and he's got it. He knocks out Adrian Yanez in the first round, and if he beats Cory Sandhagen, that's a big deal. Now, for Cory Sandhagen, I think it actually is better for him, because if he beats Umar Nurmagomedov, I don't know if he would get that title shot, because Umar isn't, a ranked guy. Like, he's ranked in the, near 15 range, and especially if Umar comes out as bad as I thought he was going to, that's not very impressive. People are going to be talking about how bad Umar is instead of how good Cory is. I think this is a good matchup. It's a fair matchup. Both guys ranked around the same in a similar position, with Rob Font, suffering losses and coming back. Cory Sandhagen doing the same with his losses to Jan and Aljo and TJ Dillashaw, and then coming back to beat Song Song Yadong, Marlon Vera, and now he's going to be fighting Rob Font. But how do I see this matchup going? Look, if it stays on the feet, it's a bit interesting. I think we're going to have to see Rob Font, use his jab. We all know Rob Font has a beautiful jab, a very strong jab that, helped knock out Adrian Yanez. We just see Rob Font, he just gets hit, and he gets hit hard and gets rocked by shots we saw in the Marlon Vera fight, where, Rob Font was doing pretty well, especially with his timing and his shots, and he pretty much outlanded Cheeto in a lot of those rounds. It was just Cheeto would, land big shots near the end and then knock him down. And I guess the question is, who's more of a finisher? Is Marlon Vera and Cory Sandhagen? And I'd bet, hey, I think Marlon Vera might be a bit of a finisher. So even though Cory Sandhagen beat Marlon Vera, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to beat Rob Font. Rob Font's already in a training camp too, so this isn't exactly like a short notice fight. Like, this is pretty much, a full Rob Font, even though this is at a catch weight, I guess, because it's a week earlier. And why not? Let's just make it a catch weight. I just think, if it stays on the feet, it might be a bit interesting because, like I said, I don't know if Cory Sandhagen is going to be able to hurt him as bad as Marlon Vera did, especially now that he's had such a long break. So it might be one of those things where Rob Font is pushing back Cory Sandhagen, and he's kind of moving on the back foot, avoiding that jab, getting hit with nice shots in the boxing exchanges. And if Rob Font keeps it in boxing range, he could do probably pretty well. Now, who do I think is going to win? Right now, I think I'm going to be choosing Cory Sandhagen just because, we've just seen his ability to mix it up so well. I think if he makes it a full mixed martial arts fight, keep it in kicking range, land a lot of cool shots, go for the takedown randomly, get Rob Font off guard, and get him always guessing, I think Cory Sandhagen can do very well. He did that very well in the Marlon Vera fight, incorporated a lot of grappling in that fight, and I think people now know, hey, Cory Sandhagen is a grappler. Like, the cat's out of the bag. He grappled against Song Yadong, grappled against Marlon Vera, so now we could expect him to grapple against Rob Font. Rob Font probably is now going to prepare for some takedown defense, which makes sense. But like I said, the thing about Cory Sandhagen isn't necessarily the fact that, he's this amazing wrestler. It's just the fact that he mixes it in so well because he's such a dangerous striker. It's just that you're thinking about the strikes and then you forget about the takedown, then you get taken down, and then when you get back up, you're thinking about the takedown, and then all of a sudden Cory hurts you. That's what's going to be a problem for Rob Font. But I think if Rob Font manages to stay composed, push Cory Sandhagen back, force him into the boxing exchanges, go in and out, but it's also just hard because Cory Sandhagen's a lot taller than him, which I think will play a factor. So I could imagine it being a little bit harder to get into range if you're Rob Font. I think Cory Sandhagen's going to win this by decision, I think. Rob Font's a pretty tough guy. He wasn't able to get finished by Aldo or Marlon Vera. One could say, hey, he's taken so much damage, he might be easier to finish now. However, no, I just think that Cory Sandhagen's going to mix it up pretty well, get in a few grappling exchanges, save Rob Font there. And yeah, I think it'll wind up going to a decision. I'm probably going to go 50-45 or 49-46. I just think Cory Sandhagen is the better fighter, period. Like, I just think he's going to perform better 9 times out of 10. Cory Sandhagen is someone that I hold very highly of. And if Cory Sandhagen wins this fight, I mean, he might be up there for title contention. Don't really see who else could be up there after, other than Merab. It really depends on who wins the Aljo and Sean O'Malley fight. Plus, Cejudo's in the mix. There's so many cool fights that you can make. And the whole bantamweight division right now seems to be injured, with Cejudo injured, Umar Nurmagomedov injured, Merab injured. Like, so many injuries right now, and it's just hard to make all these cool matchups to decide who gets the next title shot. But that's what's going to go on. I think Cory Sandhagen's going to win, and Umar Nurmagomedov missed out on a big opportunity. This could have been his one shot. They're probably now going to pair him up with maybe Jonathan Martinez or someone like that. They gave him the shot. It depends why he pulled out. If it's legitimate, maybe the UFC won't hold it against him, but if it's not, man, he might be in some bad luck because this was a great opportunity for him, especially all the shit talk that he's been doing, saying how everybody's stalking him. And I like Umar Nurmagomedov, don't get me wrong, but it's just a bad luck for him, and a lot of Twitter is ripping him apart right now, and I get it. But yeah, right now, that is what the situation is with the bantamweight division. Guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about this matchup. Right now, I got Cory Sandhagen. Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for subscribing, watching, and everything. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.